conditions they remain at the hotel during the legal process. However, the U.S. Department of State and college officials have declined to say how long the legal process might take. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
If you live in Williamsburg, chances are good you've seen them. Giant piles of beard hair rotting in the streets. Don't worry, it just means hipster molting season is here again. Experts say the husks of dead beards don't pose a threat to public safety and are just part of the natural life cycle of these strange organisms.
Once a year, all at the same time, every 20-something urban male sheds his ironic beard to make room for larger, more fanciful facial hair. They need the beards. They're a tough exoskeleton that protects these young people from the non-whimsical realities of life.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says it's the largest molting season on record. In Brooklyn, sanitation crews are working overtime to clean up the loose whiskers the exuviating males have left behind. The affected youth's molting season comes right before their mating season, when the males use their lush beards to impress the local hordes of burlesque females.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, live Sunday edition of the show. As always, you can bring up anything that you want. Take control of the airwaves here at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you here tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
And of course, you can bring up whatever you want. That's the point of the show here. We do have stuff that we always bring in to talk about, and one of those things tonight is, of course, the continuing developing drama in the Bitcoin world. In the world of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is the king, and it has been for quite a long time. It's been forever the king at the number one position with, until today, over $100 billion in market cap, meaning that the total value of all the Bitcoins in the world, over 16 million of them, is at, what was it, around 5,500, I think, today, or 5,700, something like that. I think it started the day at 6,000 and then
59 right now.
Then went down. Anyway, so total market cap is right around 100 billion. It actually dipped below that at some point today. Now, it has taken some serious damage over the last few days from a new competitor, a relatively new competitor on the scene, Bitcoin Cash, which came out back in August of this year. It was August 1st when Bitcoin Cash was the very first ever, the historic first ever fork of Bitcoin, meaning that Bitcoin, this very popular cryptocurrency, had become two. It had split into two identical copies of itself, which then from that point forward, all the transactions on each of those competing Bitcoins, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, were different. And now 3 months later, here we are with Bitcoin Cash rallying significantly over the last couple of days, coming up to, at one point yesterday, the number 2 most valued cryptocurrency in the world, as ranked by market cap. It is currently at number 3. It's kind of neck and neck with Ethereum, which has been long time the number 2 crypto. So we've been watching this and reporting on it in some level of high amount of detail, at least as detailed as we can be, and hopefully retain the interest of people who aren't necessarily deep into the world of cryptocurrency. You don't have to be deep into cryptocurrency to understand that this is a technology that is probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And it would behoove you to understand that about cryptocurrency. Whether it's Bitcoin or some other thing, maybe it's Dash or Monero or one of these other competitors out there. There are a bunch of these cryptocurrencies, over 1,000 different competitors in the marketplace, but really only a few dozen that are worth talking about.
Right. Imagine if you were in the know on the internet in 1992 instead of 2002 or whenever you figured it out.
Because we're early on in the cryptocurrency days here. The altcoins, the competitors to Bitcoin, like Litecoin and Dash and Ethereum and the rest of them, they've really only been around for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years at the most, since Litecoin came out. It was Bitcoin that came out first back in 2009. But it would behoove you to understand that cryptocurrency is a concept whose time has come. The idea of a decentralized, mathematically secure, unhackable currency that is not being created by banks or governments. That's kind of the basic concept behind cryptocurrency. And the to have a real grasp of how important that is, I didn't get it when I first heard about it, but I get it now. The value of having a decentralized currency is something that we've never really seen before in the history of money. You might argue that when there was like a barter system, that was kind of a decentralized currency because you could trade your chickens for somebody's coconuts or whatever, in that there was no central authority issuing that.
There's never been a financial system. Okay.
Yeah. That's decentralized, you mean?
Yeah, you can't call barter a financial system. Barter is something that's going on between people. And yes, it's true, it's anonymous and it's decentralized. But there's never been a financial system that both has some level of, displacement between your identity and your transactions and the decentralized aspect that Bitcoin has. So now, there's new cryptocurrencies that are out after Bitcoin that are just better. And, for instance, Dash comes to mind.
Dash is pretty cool. In fact, I've got some interesting Dash-related news. We'll get to that coming up here. But there was a story last night that I think we mentioned on the air and didn't actually get to it. What we've been seeing is this sort of parade of characters from the banking.
Let me interrupt you there for just 1 second, Ian. I just wanted to add that Bitcoin and crypto is superior to barter in the sense that geography really has nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah. And it's quicker, and you don't have to worry if somebody wants your chickens or not. Yeah. They're going to want your Bitcoin. Right. Or maybe they won't want Bitcoin anymore because it's basically broken. But like, for instance, I did not pay for my meal tonight. Normally, we have a social Sunday event here in Keene, New Hampshire, where we do the show from, where libertarians get together and just kind of hang out for dinner at a local place that takes Bitcoin. And every week prior to this, for basically this entire year, I had been buying my meals with Bitcoin. And I've been shouldering $2 fees, $3 fees in order to do that, which is, I think, unusual. The average person probably isn't willing to pay that much in a fee to, let's say, buy a $15 or $10 meal. But today, the fee of Bitcoin was going to be approximately the same price as the meal itself. So that finally crossed my line. I was no longer willing to spend an exorbitant fee like that. I'm not going to go that far. I mean, I'm a fanatic. I'll spend $3 to buy a $10 meal just to get some Bitcoin out there into the economy, get it into somebody's hands. But to spend $12 or $13 to buy a $13 meal, that had gone too far for even my tastes. So Bitcoin is unfortunately seriously broken. But that's not what Alan Greenspan is attacking Bitcoin over here. So what I was going to say is we've seen this sort of parade of these characters from the old banking business. And, Federal Reserve, in this case, the former Federal Reserve Chairman, Alan Greenspan, has come out and attacked Bitcoin in an interview with FoxBusiness.com. He is the latest high-profile financier to give his take on the controversial currency in an exclusive interview on Fox Business Network's Mornings with Maria. Greenspan said, quote, "Bitcoin is what used to be called fiat money." He then compared Bitcoin to the currency issued by the Continental Congress after the American Revolution began.
Okay. So fiat specifically has a word. I mean, it's a word that has a meaning. I don't understand what Alan Greenspan, a man who, garners a lot of respect in financial circles, might be saying here. I would like to hear more about it, but it is not fiat. Fiat specifically means an order from a authority, king or ruler. Yeah. Right? A ruler.
A royal fiat.
A royal fiat.
And I don't care to hear any more from Alan Greenspan about anything because he said capitalism doesn't work. After the meltdown of 2008, he said that I was wrong. Capitalism does not work.
Wow. What a sellout.
If it'd be real nice to know what capitalism was by his definition. But
and he also rejected the gold standard as well.
Yeah, he used to be a gold bug, and now he's not. Or then he wasn't, and then he was again. I don't know. It's a real mess. But no, Bitcoin was never deigned by some ruler or group of people claiming to be rulers as money, so it cannot be fiat.
It wasn't even created by anyone who's even identifiable. You can't even point a finger at who it was that created Bitcoin. The person called themselves, or persons called themselves, Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who that is. There have been people who put a lot of effort into trying to figure it out, and even labeling the wrong persons as Satoshi Nakamoto. That's happened a couple times in the mainstream media within the last few years. But yeah, I mean, how could you even come close to claiming it was fiat. We don't even know who issued this thing. It was just an open source code that is in no way copyrighted or controlled by anyone that was released to the world. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was, as I understand it, a big bank, one of Alan Greenspan's buddies probably, funded like $100 million into a company called Blockstream, who then apparently gave a bunch of money to a bunch of the programmers of Bitcoin and essentially bought their loyalty. And then ultimately refused to do the things that were necessary to scale Bitcoin to the consumer demand in the marketplace. And that's why we now have a backed up transaction log of, over 100,000. You said it came down to 90 today, Jonny Ray, but the last time I looked today, it was at 150,000 transactions that were backlogged at the moment. Including one of yours, Jonny. You were actually just earlier here tonight.
Oh, yeah, man. I thought I was on the bubble, but so far, last week I was talking about all these Bitcoin moves that I made, and it's not working out for me so far because of this mempool congestion.
Because you tried to make a move, but the move hasn't been made yet.
That's right.
It's just sitting out there, and it's been there for days. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. We'll tell you what else Greenspan has to say about Bitcoin. And again, if they're on the attack, it probably means you're doing something right. It's Free Talk Live.
Called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He is not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
If you're looking for work, or even if you're not, here's an innocent mistake you really want to avoid. Never return calls before listening to your voicemail. Your wireless phone sends calls you didn't answer into voicemail, and it shows you phone numbers for calls you missed. Important, don't call back callers you missed until you have first listened to your messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bothered to leave messages by asking them to repeat a message they just left as your voicemail greeting instructed them to. If you're a job applicant, this alone could be a deal killer. And even if you're not, there are few things you can convey to someone that are as fundamentally maddening as, "I didn't hear you." With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us right here. The live Sunday edition continues. We've got time for you if you want to join us on the radio. Our number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well at Skype username LRN.FM. And yes, we are talking about Bitcoin because, well, it's really important to the future of the world. I think the future of freedom, that we have access to currency not controlled by governments or banks. Unfortunately, the other side of decentralization is that the marketplace can be a little bit messy at times as it kind of figures everything out, and the market makes decisions that in some cases will hurt people. People who, for instance, had a bunch of money invested into Bitcoin and aren't paying attention. People who are busy about their own lives. They're not concerned with what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets, as they shouldn't have to be. You normally don't have to think. You shouldn't have to think that much about your money. You should just be able to sock it away and feel safe that it's in savings or whatever. But in the world of cryptocurrency, we're still on the bleeding edge of this thing, and these things can change in an instant. I mean, can you imagine if you were on a vacation and not paying any attention whatsoever to any of the headlines about cryptocurrency? If you started your vacation last Sunday and you just came back today, you'd be pretty shocked at what happened to your cryptocurrency holdings if you had, let's say, most of it or all of it in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has dropped pretty precipitously over the last week, and Bitcoin Cash has gone up.
Yeah, Bitcoin's at the all-time high that it was at on
a month ago.
No, 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
fewer than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Take a deep friggin' breath, okay? You don't know what's going to happen.
No, I didn't say I knew what was going to happen, did I?
Understand, but you're making it seem like this is some giant catastrophe, dude.
It's looking bad, let me tell you that, because right now you've got 130-something thousand transactions that are backlogged right now.
Many of them are spam.
Okay, I don't know about that, Mark. There's no real way to tell.
Many of them have tiny little transaction fees attached to them.
Yeah, I know a guy who we were just sitting down having dinner with who specifically put a tiny transaction fee on his transaction. So there are some people who just don't want to pay $10 to send a transaction somewhere.
I don't necessarily
regardless of whether or not they're spam, that doesn't solve the problem that there are 130,000 transactions sitting out there. Many of those transactions are of people like Jonny Ray, who earlier this week, when he saw the news about Bitcoin having this trouble and the Bitcoin Cash possibly going up, he said, as many people did, oh, well, maybe I want to get out of this Bitcoin thing, or at least partially get out of it.
I saw that SegWit 2x had been canceled. And then I saw that,
which was the fork that was supposed to happen in a few days.
Right, that was to ameliorate the mempool congestion and the scaling problem that Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, was having. I saw that SegWit 2x was canceled, and then I saw that the price of Bitcoin Cash was going up and the price of Bitcoin was going down, and so I tried to start moving my money. But a lot of people were transacting in Bitcoin, and all of the moves that I made just went into the mempool, and they haven't come out yet.
They've been sitting there for days now. So there's a huge problem. I'm not saying I know what's going to happen in the future, Mark, but it certainly doesn't seem like Bitcoin is going to be number one forever at this rate. If they don't fix this thing, and if they don't fix it fast, it's going to keep, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it's going to keep losing market share as it has been.
And I believe Bitcoin Cash has the majority hash power now.
It does have the majority hash power for the first time, by the way, today, basically, early this morning. It crossed that threshold to where Bitcoin Cash's hash power, which is the aggregation of all the mining power that's mining it at any given moment, that number eclipsed the Bitcoin or Bitcoin Core, or whatever you want to call it, the original Bitcoin, for the first time ever. It's the first time any currency has ever done that to Bitcoin. The other first that happened within the last few days is the volume, the total amount being traded of Bitcoin Cash exceeded the total amount being traded of Bitcoin, and it stayed there. So over the last 36, 48 hours, somewhere in that range, Bitcoin Cash has been the number one traded cryptocurrency by volume.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Bitcoin Cash can't scale like Bitcoin hopefully will be able to do once SegWit and Lightning are in place.
Well, that's not happening anytime soon. So what's going to happen to your precious Bitcoin in the meantime?
I don't know, Ian.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it doesn't look good.
Who says that Bitcoin Cash and their giant blocks is not as good as SegWit and sidechains?
The estimate currently is that 3 million people use Bitcoin 5 times per month. That gives you the number that you currently have as far as transaction fees, where we're clogged up, right? And let's say that that's just functioning. That's functioning at the highest level. If you go up by a factor of 10, right? Like you want 30 million people to be able to use Bitcoin, right?
Sure.
Do you want 300 million people to use Bitcoin?
You want 3 billion.
Okay.
To be able to use it.
3 billion. Excellent. So you have to go up by 1, 2, 3 factors. So that means the block size needs to be increased from 1 to 10, 100, 1,000. What's 1,000? Is that a gig?
That's a gigabyte.
Okay. Yeah. So now you've got a 1 gig block size. Yeah. Every 10 minutes, we're pulling down a gig. Every 10 minutes, pulling down a gig. Will that price out the small people who are mining out there?
I don't know, Mark. You're talking about a way off in the future. And then by that time, bandwidth is going to be even cheaper than it is now, and hard drive space is going to be even cheaper than it is now. And also, that gives developers plenty of time to come up with real solutions. And maybe this Lightning Network thing that you seem to be believing in, which doesn't seem to be much more than vaporware at this point, it keeps being promised to being 18 months away, so that's not around the corner.
Well, there was a big dispute for the last 3 years in Bitcoin, and it was very difficult to, that dispute just wasn't getting resolved. Now we have a resolution. Bitcoin Cash is out there.
But they didn't need to wait for that to implement the Lightning Network.
They couldn't even get SegWit implemented. I don't have the answers
they couldn't.
for
They
you.
had to rely on subterfuge to get SegWit put in. SegWit was a supposed fix to this network issue that you're talking about, where Bitcoin is full. And so they had a meeting back in May where a bunch of the Bitcoin miners, mining pool operators, and a bunch of companies came to an agreement, said, all right, we'll put this controversial SegWit thing in if you guys agree to put in this controversial 2 megabyte block size increase, which would double the size of the blocks, which is the place where all the transactions go in this blockchain, which is a public ledger. And they did it in a staggered or they were going to do it in a staggered plan where SegWit, the segregated witness, was implemented back in August, and it was, because people followed through on that part of the agreement. And then the people who just wanted SegWit out of this whole thing, they just said, we didn't really want to do that 2 megabyte block size. See ya. And so they took a walk, and then the whole 2 megabyte thing, this 2x part of the SegWit 2x, basically crumbled last week. And I think that's for the best, honestly, because I'm glad we didn't see Bitcoin split again. We don't need 7 or 5 or however many different Bitcoins would have come out of that.
Do you understand that everybody on the large block size isn't Roger Ver, and everybody on the small block size isn't that Brock fella?
Yeah, so what?
Well, I mean, because some people went back on their word, doesn't mean that everybody did. And as I understand
I didn't say everybody did.
The Blockstream people never signed that.
That's right. They never did.
Okay.
Because they don't believe in increasing the block size for some strange reason.
They want to put pressure to create SegWit and Lightning Network.
No, they can do that on their own without putting on pressure and destroying the network that they're supposedly protecting.
Right.
More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Free Talk Live.
Ms. Maxwell's local council has decided that the pool, which is only 2 feet deep, needs a lifeguard. It's a kiddie pool. As if the lifeguard wasn't enough, she's also been told she must have insurance. The health and safety edict came after she wrote to the city council asking for permission to put a bigger pool in the communal garden outside her home. That was her mistake, asking for permission rather than forgiveness. But nonetheless, not only was she told it was too dangerous, but the council told her to empty the existing pool. The Portsmouth manager defended the ruling yesterday. Nigel Selly said, "We didn't have sufficient assurances that the risks associated with providing such a facility would be well managed. It's a facility. How dare you? How dare you erect this structure on your property?
It's an inflatable pool.
Without our permission."
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here, toll free at 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and you can Skype in here at username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can also go to Bitcoin.com. Maybe all this Bitcoin talk is a little bit overwhelming, a little confusing. You need to learn the basics. We try our best to kind of stop down and explain as we go along. But if you really want to get the basics, go to Bitcoin.com. It's a great place to go and learn about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and the new Bitcoin Cash, which is vying for dominance with Bitcoin at over 24% today of the price of a Bitcoin. That is, Bitcoin Cash is about 24% of the price of a regular Bitcoin, which
it's a phenomenal increase,
which on its own has gone down precipitously over the last few days. Now, as you pointed out, Mark, it has gone down to the level it was at a few weeks ago, so not a huge loss in the scheme of things.
Fewer than 2 weeks, yeah.
But nonetheless, there are some people who are, I think, rightfully concerned, and they are trying to get out of the old Bitcoin. But unfortunately, like a run on the bank,
when
they're stuck.
The market zigs, your job is to always zag, right? Like the amount of times that the vast majority of people are doing one thing and doing the other isn't a good idea is near zero. I mean, it's almost always a good idea to zag when the market zigs. And the market is clearly zigging. So what does it mean to zag? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know, man. All I know is I wanted to get some Bitcoin out of Bitcoin and put it into other things. Now, I'm not an investor, okay? I don't claim to be an investor. I just kind of, I do what I do, and I feel like Bitcoin is hurting right now. Maybe it's going to all of a sudden get fixed by some miracle technology that you seem to believe they've got right around the corner, Mark. And I'd love to see Bitcoin get fixed because, there's still a bunch of Bitcoin in the Shire Free Church's portfolio. So, I don't want it to fail completely. I don't want it to fail, but it sure has failed, and it is failing. And there's all kinds of evidence of that failure. You get stuck transactions, over 150,000 or 130,000 of them right now. And from what I was reading earlier, if you want to clear that those amount of transactions out, you'd have to stop all new Bitcoin transactions from happening for 24 hours. If you could stop all new transactions from happening from this point for 24 more hours, that would give the Bitcoin network, churning away as it is, enough time to actually process through those 130,000 transactions. But that's not going to happen because people are trying to leave Bitcoin right now. And you can look at the numbers.
Including the miners.
Yeah, the miners are switching over to Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, in many cases, it's the case. Yeah.
And we're going to see that conflict get even more interesting in the next 24 to 48 hours because Bitcoin Cash is about to have its own hard fork within the next 24 hours. It's going to happen tomorrow afternoon, about 2 o'clock Eastern Time, where Bitcoin Cash is going to supposedly have an upgrade in its so-called difficulty adjustment algorithm, which means that Bitcoin Cash will then be able to adjust its difficulty on the fly. Essentially, once a day, it'll reassess whether its difficulty needs to be raised or lowered based on how many people or how many computers and the total hashing power is in the game. So that's going to be a big change from the way it is now, which is it's only looking every 2016 blocks. So about once every 2 weeks is it reassesses the difficulty. So apparently that just happened recently because within the last 24 hours, there was a big flip. So it was more profitable to mine Bitcoin Cash for the last few days. It is now more profitable to mine Bitcoin Core. And that's because Bitcoin Cash increased its difficulty over this weekend. So it went from being 10% difficulty of Bitcoin to 38% difficulty of Bitcoin. And so now miners are switching back to Bitcoin because it is more profitable to mine Bitcoin for the moment.
Right. They called it the flippening, and it may, it certainly signals that Bitcoin Cash has become as successful as Roger Ver believed it was going to be. And that's pretty exciting stuff.
So we were talking about Greenspan, Alan Greenspan. He's on the attack. We'll give you more about that here in moments. But first, David in San Francisco, you're on Free Talk Live on the Live Sunday edition.
Oh, howdy, all. Yeah, when I didn't catch Greenspan's, what is his pronouncement?
He's calling Bitcoin fiat money and saying is tantamount to the Continental Congress issuing, or the currency issued by the Continental Congress. It was called the Continental dollar or something like that, I think.
The first one, let's see, they came up with a new American tenor. Yeah, the Continental dollar.
Yeah.
And it wasn't worth the Continental.
Yeah, there you go.
If you remember Valley Forge, they were freezing at Valley Forge because the currency had become useless. And the British had made so much counterfeit. And it's funny, I come from a family, great-great-great-grandfather, John Hart of New Jersey. He was one of the signers of the Declaration. And each of the 13 colonies had their own money, and then the Continental Congress allowed each of the 13 colonies to print their own money. So John Hart personally autographed every bill, and for a watermark, they would take a tree that was local only to New Jersey. So it would be pretty difficult for the British to counterfeit it. And so they only found New Jersey leaves, and each bill is individual because it's like a thumbprint, of a tree. And so
I'm not sure what you mean by that. How is a tree watermarking a bill?
The leaves.
Well, in other words, the British had counterfeited the Continental dollar, right? And that's why Washington was freezing at Valley Forge.
Yeah.
They couldn't even buy firewood. They couldn't get food. They couldn't get their, bullets or gunpowder or anything. He was starving at Valley Forge and so that's why he, in a last-ditch thing, he crossed the Delaware and raided their armory and won the battle. So that allowed them to come up with a new American tenor, and that became the second. I've forgotten the name of the second currency, but it was the new American tenor, is the way Thomas Paine described it. And it's really and so I had called about international currencies.
Yeah.
America, for a long time, America, everybody wanted to trade with us because we were the land of the free and the home of the brave, right? We had all sorts of great inventions. They were stuck with kings that didn't want to touch new inventions or new ideas. Mm-hmm. They were stodgy old farts invested in bad ideas, and they cronied out all of their production lines. And so, the cronies were usually fat drunks that never got anything done. And you give a fat drunk knight ability to run a factory that requires, the people's lifestyle to be dependent on it, and this guy's too fat and drunk to get anything done right. You put your old nation at risk by that. So the whole idea of free enterprise and, whether you had patent rights or reproduction rights, whatever, you give tribute to the inventors, but by God, you don't allow the nation to starve because, some aristocrat has got management of it. So the whole idea that America used to be a place where everybody wanted to trade in American dollars, but since we've had idiots like George Bush, the W, and the ones before that were, I don't know if any of the listeners, I recommended, right, that Making of the President series, and you look in the index under gold for 1972. Didn't I recommend that a couple of calls back?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the point you're driving at here?
Well, the specie. There used to be gold in Fort Knox, right? And
there may still be. We don't really know.
Well, Richard Nixon, they probably really went to see the eclipse because there wasn't any gold in Fort Knox. They took the museum chunk. But if you find, there's an old book series called The Making of the President series, and it was various years. So it was 1960, 64, 68, 72. Look for the one 1972 in the index under gold. It describes how Fort Knox was emptied. And basically, he doesn't say it out loud, but I think that Watergate would have been second to the emptying of Fort Knox.
That's a pretty big scandal. David, thanks for the call tonight. One thing's for sure, you can't trust central bankers. You can't trust government money. It's just the history of government money, and has been a history of debasement, a history of fraud and dishonesty.
That's why Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have a real opportunity.
That's true. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. Unfortunately, the team behind Bitcoin has squandered theirs. It's Free Talk Live.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Happy, the rescue dog. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, but I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and of course you can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. You're invited to Skype in and join us here. Skype username is LRN.FM. And I want you to know about Dash. It is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast. It can be private and easy. Fees are low. Transactions are quick and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And according to some news I've got, it looks like Dash is planning on lowering their fees even more in the very near future. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to dash.org and find out why. And I like to see headlines like I saw with Dash recently here about how they are planning on doing some upgrades to the Dash system. This according to Breitbart, actually. They are planning to upgrade its blockchain code on Wednesday, and that I believe is going to be a hard fork, is what they're going to be doing. But it's a hard fork that's not contentious in that the Dashers, the masternodes, voted for this, and like 99% of them voted for it. So this is going to go forward. It promises to reduce most transaction fees to less than a third of a penny, boasting that it has upgraded its scaling capabilities as Bitcoin struggles under the load of its users' activity. The change reduces regular transaction fees by 1,000%. So now any transaction will cost a flat rate of 0.00001 dash, which is the equivalent as of right now, at the right time they wrote this, of 0.003 US dollars, meaning a third of a cent, basically.
Third of a cent, okay.
Which
but
is the
Dash
way
is on its way up right now, so it's hard to know.
That's true. Which is the way that Bitcoin used to be.
Yeah.
So even this new Bitcoin Cash, which is way better than Bitcoin as far as technology is concerned, Bitcoin is broken, as we've been discussing earlier this evening. Bitcoin is slow right now. It's expensive. The fees are out of control. The transactions are backlogged to the tune of 130,000 transactions. Bitcoin is effed up at the moment. I hope it gets better, but it doesn't look good in the immediate future. Dash, on the other hand, is actually... Once this change goes through, if what they say here is going to actually be true and that there's going to be a flat Dash fee of a third of a penny per transaction, that'll mean Dash is like 10 times cheaper to send than Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
Because it's not uncommon for the low end of a Bitcoin Cash transaction to be like 1 to 3 cents.
And it confirms significantly faster, and it has the potential of being private if it's what you choose to do.
Private-ish, I would say. I mean, it's got some privacy features built into it. It's certainly no Monero or anything like that. So if you're looking for a true privacy coin, I wouldn't use Dash for that.
Hold on. You haven't looked into this as thoroughly as you could,
okay.
right?
No, I have not.
So the paper that came out that said Dash isn't as secure as it could be, right?
Yeah.
It didn't mix the way that Dash suggested that you mix.
Okay.
And there's an option within the at least the desktop version, their version of the QT, that allows you to mix up to 10 times.
That's cool.
So,
Mixing's good, but as somebody who really wants to follow it, I believe there's a way that you can, if you really want to put the time and effort into it, you can probably get through that.
I'd like somebody to send me an email, outlining how they get through these.
I'm not a technical expert. I've just heard that mixing isn't perfect. It's better privacy than what you're going to get on an open public blockchain. There's no doubt about that.
Much better than Bitcoin.
But it's not going to be a Zcash, which is a zero transaction proof that's supposedly like the best system out there right now for privacy. So if you want a privacy coin, there are some that are much more private than Dash. But Dash certainly has a lot going for it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about it. For me, Dash's real selling point is the fact that it is marketed as digital cash, that it's intended to be used for market-based transactions, which is what we need right now, which is what Bitcoin used to be but is broken for. And I was embarrassed when I could not bring myself to spend the insane fees that were being required in order to buy a simple hamburger and fries tonight at a local place that accepts Bitcoin. I had to apologize, or I felt I had to apologize, because normally I'm a reliable Bitcoin customer, and tonight I had to pay with greenbacks.
Sure.
It was disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Bitcoin sold a bill of goods. I mean, we that believed in Bitcoin sold a bill of goods some years ago that Bitcoin was going to be this digital money. And
I'm the one who pitched it to a lot of these businesses in town, and so I'm the one who gets to go and eat crow and say, well, sorry. Oh, by the way, business owner, you're so busy checking, running your business, you don't ever look at your Bitcoin wallet. You don't have time. You're just running around like a, chicken with your head cut off trying to put out fires, and, whatever's going on, somebody didn't show up. You got to call somebody to fill in. You got to do the books. You got to put the payroll. There are all kinds of things that the business owner is busy doing. They're not checking every day. They're not reading the news about Bitcoin. They probably don't know that Bitcoin has fallen like 20% over the last few days. They probably have no idea about that. And if that keeps going, and I hope it doesn't.
If they don't have any idea about that, then they don't know that Bitcoin is up over a month ago.
Well, no, it only took a few days for it to crash dramatically over the last couple of days. So that's all I'm saying. If they check it once a month, they might have some idea that their Bitcoin's up. But if they're not checking every day, then they don't know what's actually happening.
If you're not checking every day, you don't. There's not much to have missed out on.
There's a lot to have missed within the last week. There's been huge developments. I mean, to downplay what has happened within the last week, Mark, I'm sorry.
2 weeks ago, Bitcoin was worth what it is today.
Yeah, but you could get transactions through for $3, and right now it's $13, Mark. So to act like there's nothing wrong,
I'm not acting like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, you're just acting like no big deal.
Hold your Bitcoin.
What I'm trying to say
the whole
here,
marketplace has lost their mind.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all trying to rush out the door, and they can't go at the same time.
That's right, and that means that anybody that wants to get out is stuck, like Jonny Ray is right now, where his transactions literally been stuck for days. So I'm just
getting
saying,
trampled.
Yeah,
they're running over my back now.
I feel
I've been
bad
knocked to the floor.
Jonny, you know what's going on. You want to get out because you know. I'm talking about the people that don't know.
I was so proud of myself.
Now, Mark, I hope you're right. I hope that the hemorrhaging here stops and that we see both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin go up. I mean, that's what I'd like to see happen. That's not what's happening. It seems like Bitcoin goes down, Bitcoin Cash goes up. If you look at the total price of Bitcoin Cash, and as of last night, I didn't look today, but as of late last night, if you add up the price of Bitcoin Cash and the price of a Bitcoin, you get about $7,900, which was the same price that Bitcoin hit right as the news came out that the SegWit 2x fork was supposed to be canceled this coming week. When that came out, the Bitcoin price shot up to $7,900 and then proceeded to fall from there all the way down to as low as $5,500 to where it is now at about $5,900 tonight.
Right.
And so again, you add them together and you get about the same amount of total value. So it's like the market is literally just going between the two and trying to establish who's going to win this thing. And I don't know.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know that Dash is saying here they're going to be lowering fees. And to me, if I got to pay a third of a penny for a transaction versus 3 cents, I'm going to take the third of a penny transaction because I want to support the network that gives me the cheapest possible. I want fees to be transparent. I want buyers in the marketplace to not have to ask the question that they've been having to ask recently about Bitcoin, because I don't want to have to explain to people how Bitcoin fees are calculated. That's a very difficult thing to explain.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to explain that to someone who understands cryptocurrency, at least at some level, let alone a newbie who wants to know, why is it when I'm trying to send a $5 worth of Bitcoin, it wants to get $10 in fees from me?
Yeah.
Why is that? And I have to explain it. Well, it's because Bitcoin, you send it in these chunks, and then the chunks, they're all kept separately, and the more chunks you have, the larger the fee size is. And so I was explaining at a recent Bitcoin meetup that we had here, is we never had to talk about this 3 years ago.
Right.
Because the fee was so small, nobody cared. Oh, 1 cent fee to whatever. No, you don't have to explain that to anybody. But when they're demanding $3, $5, $7, $10, which they are now, over $10 median fees today, if you want somebody to understand why this is happening, why it wasn't this way before, you've got a half-hour-long conversation you've got to have with somebody there. And that is not the wave of the future.
So, Ian, you use a wallet for spending, buying meals, and so forth.
Yeah.
And how does it determine when you're using it what the fee is?
How does the wallet determine the fee?
The wallet that you use, how does it choose what fee to append to the transaction?
So all wallets do something similar, and they base their fee calculations on the market, the fee market, basically, like what are other people paying out there for these transactions. And then on top of that, it also has to know how large the transaction is in kilobytes, how much data the transaction takes up. So not the amount. You can have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin transacted for less than $100 worth of Bitcoin. It just depends on how many of these clumps that the Bitcoin is in that it has to take it out of.
Are there wallets that allow you
technical.
to choose your own fee?
There are. But unfortunately, if you price them too low, as you had inadvertently done last week, your transaction might get stuck because Bitcoin's broken. More coming up.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small, it's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's buysellmakeoffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. Buysellmakeoffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, November 12th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.89 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,175. Antiwar.com reports Russia's lower house of parliament is advancing a measure which will allow the Russian government to take moves to label certain U.S. media outlets as foreign agents under law, forcing them to disclose substantial information about their operations within that country. Details are still scant, but the move is described as being meant to take similar measures as those by the U.S. Department of Justice, which has ordered Russia's RT to register as a foreign agent. Russia has threatened retaliation before over the move against RT. The suggestion of it being similar is that the move will likely target Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, media outlets which are organized as quasi-independent government media in virtually identical ways to RT. U.S. officials accuse RT of being part of an effort to sway U.S. elections because they covered a debate involving minor party candidates, a debate which mainstream U.S. media outlets would not cover. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports 8 guests and 1 worker at Disneyland have contracted Legionnaire's disease, prompting the Anaheim, California theme park to close a pair of cooling towers. According to the Orange County Healthcare Agency, in addition to the 9 cases, 3 other people who live in or traveled to Anaheim developed the disease. The 12 victims range from 52 years to 94 years old. Orange County Healthcare Public Information Officer Jessica Good said 10 of the people were hospitalized and 1 person with additional health issues died despite not visiting the park. 55 cases of the disease have been reported this year in Orange County. About 3 weeks ago, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notified county authorities of several cases of the disease among people who traveled to Orange County in September. By the end of October, Disneyland learned of the cases. On November 3rd, Disney informed the health agency that routine testing had detected elevated levels of Legionella bacteria in 2 cooling towers a month earlier. The company said the towers, located in a space more than 100 feet from areas accessible to guests, were disinfected and returned to service last Sunday. On Tuesday, Disney took the towers down again because the health agency ordered them to verify they were free of Legionella contamination. Walt Disney Parks and Resorts Chief Medical Officer Pamela Heimel said Disney conducted more tests on all of their water towers. The type of pneumonia was named Legionnaire's disease after an outbreak of pneumonia caused 34 deaths at a 1976 American Legion convention in Philadelphia. Legionnaire's disease is caused by bacteria growing in water that can spread spread when small droplets get into the air and people breathe them in. It is not, however, contagious from person to person. People generally contract the disease 2 days after exposure and usually can be treated with antibiotics, according to the CDC, which says 1 in 10 people die from the infection. Symptoms include cough, shortness of breath, fever, muscle aches, and headaches. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports 3 UCLA men's basketball players detained in China over allegations of shoplifting last week were not on the team's return flight to the United States on Saturday. Citing unnamed sources, ESPN reported the 3 students, freshman LeAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill, will remain in China for a week or 2. The 3 players were questioned about allegedly stealing from a Louis Vuitton store during the team's visit to China. They were taken into police custody on Tuesday morning and released early on Wednesday. A source told Reuters that police had released the 3 on conditions they remain at the hotel during the legal process. However, the U.S. Department of State and college officials have declined to say how long the legal process might take. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Princeton Medical Institute has found that the most common deathbed regret, more than losing contact with family or spending too much time at the office, is never having sprayed a fire extinguisher all over the place.
Similar themes emerged in our interviews with dying patients. Some wished that they'd taken more risks. Others wished that they'd lived a life truer to their dreams. But almost every single person surveyed, regardless of their age or circumstance, said that their most significant regret was never having grabbed a fire extinguisher off a wall and blasted it around a room until it ran out of foam.
I've lived a good life. I was a nurse for 32 years. I have 3 beautiful children, but I've never smashed my elbow into a glass case, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and gone whoosh over everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, hour number 2. As we are launching in here, you may take control of the airwaves and bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
We've been talking about, well, once again, cryptocurrencies here on Free Talk Live. Some of the good news out there, I mean, it's bad news on the Bitcoin front, where the price of Bitcoin has been falling over the last few days. The price of Bitcoin Cash has been very good for a lot of people, although even that's down today as well, down to around $1,300, having peaked up, around 18 or 19 or 2,000 or something like that overnight. So it's been on a bit of a roller coaster as well. Maybe not as high as 2,000. I don't know. It definitely was up to like 18,
yeah.
18 something. So that all is happening, but at the same time, Dash is saying they're going to be reducing their fees, their transaction fees. They're taking them down by 1,000%, they say here, and they're going to be a third of a penny to send a Dash transaction. Or if you want to do what they call their instant send, which is much faster. I mean, Dash on its own is faster than Bitcoin, but the instant send is even faster than a normal Dash transaction. That will be reduced to a very low, remarkably low, 2.8 cents each, according to the Econo Times. Right now, you're looking at 28 cents for the instant send transaction. In contrast, Bitcoin carries transactions costs of about $6 per. And you can tell this was written a few days ago. It was written on yesterday. It was written yesterday, or published yesterday. It was probably written a few days before that, because right now the Bitcoin transactions are typically over $10 a piece at the moment, which is tragic. Since Dash's upgrade, the price has bounced such that the fee for these premium transactions would be the equivalent of 3.2 cents. In contrast, most credit and debit cards charge a flat fee of at least 20 cents, plus a percentage of the product price, averaging about 3%. So Dash is already cheaper than credit cards for almost every transaction over $1, and now they're saying here on Wednesday it's going to become even cheaper for 20-cent transactions. 30. You want to buy a pack of gum with Dash, it's going to be almost no fee whatsoever. Basically.
Right. So Dash is digital cash, right? D cash. Digital cash. And the idea is I think they want to set themselves up for micropayments too, nano payments, that kind of thing. For instance, my favorite sort of example is there's a social networking platform. Maybe it'll be Facebook. Maybe it won't. I don't know. And instead of liking somebody's post, maybe there's a good post out there. Maybe there's a super like where you throw them a nickel or a dime or something like that. Or on Twitter, imagine one of these tweets that goes super viral, where somebody says something really insightful, something really for whatever reason gets people excited, and a whole bunch of people like it. A person could potentially make hundreds of dollars on these tweets.
If there was a way to send a microtransaction.
If there was a way to make a microtransaction.
And there are.
And it was integrated and easy to do. Like, nobody's going to sit around and fumble with their phone to send a microtransaction.
For 2 cents, for 5 cents.
2 or 5 cents or something like that. But if it's something where you can just, because, frankly, working for likes on Facebook is ridiculous. But if Facebook had an idea where you liked a post and depending on maybe how much time you spent, like Steemit, the platform that you use, Ian, depending on how much time you spent on the platform or whatever, your like would be more meaningful or less meaningful, or maybe they're all just every like is worth a nickel. I mean, you wouldn't be handing out likes as quickly then, would you, if every like was a nickel? But
then it would mean something to like.
It would be meaningful to like
post.
It. But 5 cents isn't much either. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even bend over for it to pick it up off the sidewalk.
But if you get a million pennies, then you've got $100,000 or $10,000.
$10,000, yeah, which is a lot.
The upgrade also affects the speed and volume of transactions, with Dash now boasting it can handle 48 per second, while Bitcoin remains stuck at 7. That number is nowhere near the average 2,000 per second that Visa gets, or the 1,500 that blockchain firm Ripple boasts. But still, it means a capacity for over 4 million transactions per day. Not bad for a technology still in its infancy. And indeed, there's another related story over at Cointelegraph.com saying that Dash is planning to implement 2 megabyte block sizes. So this whole thing that people have been warring over in the Bitcoin community, Dash is just going to be like, yep, we're going to do that.
Because of Bitcoin's decentralized nature, it is very difficult to make decisions. It's like turning a ship. Making this decision was, it's like the captain and the first officer are arguing about which directions to go or whatever, and finally they come to a decision, and then you won't see the results for months down the road, whereas Dash is much more like a speedboat. They decide they're going to do something, turn the wheel, the boat turns.
If you want to join us here, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. The Dash development team appears hyper-focused on making the currency easy for everyday use, more than getting rich through day trading. This according to the CEO of Dash Core, Ryan Taylor, specifically cited unglamorous, low-value products to show the benefits of the upgrade in a statement announcing the new code. He said, quote, higher transaction fees affect both consumers and merchants looking to spend the incoming funds. The users of several other networks have experienced firsthand the impact that high fees can have on their daily lives, as many low-value transactions such as prepaid phone top-ups or gift card purchases are priced out of the market. And the funny thing is, there's people who are just in the crypto community who are just like, oh, you want fast, you want quick, you want cheap? Well, you can use PayPal, you can use credit card. And it's like, hello, the whole point of cryptocurrency is to leave PayPal and to leave, these old systems. I don't want to go back if I can stay in the new world, I mean, the fact that these people would give up on the idea of buying small items, buying a cup of coffee with cryptocurrency is really embarrassing, I think. Going on, though, he concluded with a jab at Bitcoin. Quote, Dash is silently becoming the network Bitcoin once promised to be, unquote.
That ain't a jab. That's the truth.
The article writer here says, I don't own any Dash or Bitcoin, but the network has intrigued me with its multi-tiered setup. In most blockchains, users earn new units of the currency by mining or by buying, either proof of work or proof of stake. The Dash has a hybrid system where you can do both. In its masternode system, anyone who owns 1,000 Dash keeps those coins connected to the network and earns a reward of passive income for supporting the blockchain. At the current price, it would cost a newbie over $300,000 to start one of those masternodes, but a potential investor can instead join a masternode pool, with the cost of entry being a much lower 25 Dash, which is closer to $8,000 at the time of the writing, at one of the most popular ones. With this update, Dash now has strong incentives to mine, stake, and spend, while Bitcoin struggles with spending, with no potential relief in the near future. So again, Mark, you talked about this Lightning Network supposed fix that's somewhere out there, 18 months away is the last number I saw being quoted, whereas Dash is upgrading this week. Dash is on a direct path to attracting more users with non-techie appeals, and all digital currency developers should take note. Someone living in Section 8 housing won't care about the elegance of your coin's cryptography. He cares a lot more about getting his funds confirmed quickly enough to avoid a payday loan. A widowed grandmother isn't going to care about an anarchist reset after we destroy the central banking system. She cares a lot more about paying for her food and toiletries without a 3% surcharge. And a retailer will definitely care less about the value of Dash going to the moon than selling its wares for 3% lower than his Visa-reliant competitors and getting more customers. So there's some good reasons to consider looking at the Dash currency. You can learn more about it over at dash.org. And I got to say, as one of the big Bitcoin evangelists here in the Keene, New Hampshire area, one of the people who has done a lot to try to bring Bitcoin accepting businesses on board, to get mom and pop brick and mortar style retailers to accept Bitcoin at the point of sale, I've got to go and talk to all these people now and express to them my sincerest regrets for the situation that Bitcoin has found itself in, to where, sorry, you probably don't have any customers anymore who are willing to spend Bitcoin, because no one sane is going to spend $10 to buy a dollar soda at the local corner news shop, or spend $13 to buy a $5 hamburger at the local burger place.
Don't forget that these people, in many cases, got their Bitcoin at something like between $500 and $2,000 in value.
No doubt.
And now have seen a giant increase.
They've got a little nut. If they held on to it, they've got a little bit of a nest egg. That's cool. But it's basically halted all, these fees have halted any kind of further business being done with Bitcoin at their storefront. So there's got to be another option. And thankfully, there is the AnyPay system that is supporting Dash. More coming up.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to you to never let fire into your home, and make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it, and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at Skype username lrn.fm. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. And if you want to try out a really great pillow, what might be the best pillow you'll ever use, you can do it by going to mypillow.com and use code FTL like Free Talk Live. The MyPillow is designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using it now for going on 2 years, I would say, and it's been fantastic. Mark, you also have the MyPillow. Unlike a regular pillow, you can actually wash and dry the MyPillow, which is an amazing feature I've never seen in any pillow besides MyPillow. You go to mypillow.com and use code FTL. You get yours at half price or 2 for the price of 1, however you want to look at it. It is up to you how many you order. And if you don't like it for some reason within that first 60 days, you can actually get your purchase price refunded to you once you send the pillow back to them. The pillow itself, by the way, is guaranteed to last for 10 years. So if you do love it, then it's going to last you for a long time. mypillow.com. Use code FTL for the discount. Alan Greenspan is on the attack against cryptocurrency, specifically attacking Bitcoin. Of course, it's the king of the cryptocurrency charts right now, and the fact that the former Federal Reserve chairman himself is coming out on attack is a good sign that the world of cryptocurrency is a threat to the old banking system. Because if crypto wasn't a threat, if crypto wasn't significant, and you could argue that $100 billion, which is what Bitcoin's current market cap isn't really a whole lot in the scheme of money, right? Like $100 billion.
Globally, $100 billion is not much. It's
like one financial company, basically. Like Goldman Sachs or something is worth $100
Right, but I mean,
billion.
if you think about Bank of America or
they have trillions of
trillions of dollars. So I mean, they're it's a fraction of that.
So Bitcoin for those people is chump change, but they obviously see something about it. There's something that is catching their attention. It's making it so they feel like they have to respond. And you got the CEO of Chase, for instance, Jamie Dimon, who was recently on. We quoted him on this show, and he's been on the attack. And Ben, I think it was who was the other chairman of the Fed? Bernanke.
Yeah.
He came out, I believe, and attacked Bitcoin. So, like a lot of these big names in the banking industry are spending their precious, valuable time talking about this little kid on the block, right? cryptocurrency. It's worth a fraction of their toilet that they sit on. It's probably a $100 billion toilet. But
yeah, right. Why do they do that?
They're talking about it because it matters. They're talking about it because it is evolutionary, the idea of cryptocurrency. Whether or not you agree that Bitcoin is broken, and I think it is, that doesn't matter because cryptocurrency is here to stay. Whether it's Bitcoin Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, or you name it, something's going to be on the top. And cryptocurrency right now is climbing a huge mountain in price overall. If you look at the total market cap for all cryptos, it's just a straight up mountain. I mean, there's barely any dips or crevices in this thing. I mean, it's just over the last 5 months, it's gone from 15 billion or 20 billion to $200 billion in total market cap, and it's amazing. Anyway, going back to what Greenspan had to say, he actually referred to Bitcoin as fiat money and even suggested it was like the Continental Congress's dollar that they issued. Quote, he said, I would use the analogy of Continental currency. Continental currency in 1775 was issued with no backing, and it sold at par in the marketplace for quite a while. Until
What's the U.S. dollar right now issued with? What kind of backing is that issued with?
Nothing.
This is the state of reporting in America today. This Alan Greenspan, the former head of the Federal Reserve, makes a statement that on its face is laughably ignorant.
It's backed by itself. It's backed by the words on it that say this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private.
Something dumb in order to make it seem like this is true, right? Like that's all you got left is it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. Well, the Continental wasn't. I mean, everything you can say about the Continental, you can say about the United States Federal Reserve note as it exists today.
Yep.
You can't say it about Bitcoin, and Greenspan isn't asked a single question like that because our reporters, ladies and gentlemen, are lazy slobs.
No doubt about that. He says it sold at par in the marketplace for quite a while until they started to build up more and more printing of Continentals.
Something that you can't do with Bitcoin is print them out.
Right, that's another great point. Even though there is an inflation rate with Bitcoin, meaning that there are Bitcoins that are mined into existence that don't exist right now, so there's like 16 million some amount of Bitcoins out there, closing in on, I think, 17 million. But the total amount that will ever be issued is 21 million. So the inflation does exist, but it's predictable. You know it's happening. You know the rate at which it's happening. It's not subject to arbitrary fiat where, some king or some authoritarian bureaucrat gets to decide, let's turn up the printing presses. Just full speed ahead. We need quantitative easing. All that stuff. You can't do that with Bitcoin. It doesn't work that way. So we know that Bitcoin's going to hit 21 million, and we know that over time the mining rewards halve. So every time a block gets mined onto the blockchain, which is, again, the public ledger that backs Bitcoin, the blocks are where the transactions are stored. Every time that happens, there's a certain mining reward that is released to the miner that finds it. It used to be 50 Bitcoin way back. I think it started at 50 in 2009. Yeah. Then it became 25. Then it became 12.5, and that's where we're at today. I believe it changed to 12.5. Was it last summer or something like that? It was within the last year or so. So it went from 25 to 12.5, and then it's going to go to 6.25, and then half of that, and then half of that, and then over a certain, I forget what the time window is between halvings. I'm not sure what that is, but it
varies depending on things.
It's usually a few years at least. And so over time, it's going to trickle out until it finally hits 21 million. So anyway, going on. According to Greenspan, the perception of the cryptocurrency is not necessarily matching the reality. He says, quote, human nature is such that if you get something such as Bitcoin, you think there is some value there, whether there is or there isn't. But that's the same thing as a Continental, greenbacks in the Civil War, all these currencies which didn't have any backing.
Yeah, and he's wrong. Bitcoin is not like those. Bitcoin has a tremendous amount of equipment backing it. Equipment and talent and the code that's been written. That is what backs Bitcoin.
The network.
There is a physical component to it, and it is the network.
I think that's an interesting point. That was always the answer that I never really knew for a while early on in Bitcoin, because I couldn't really say what backed Bitcoin, because I was used to thinking of backing as like a physical gold or something like that. But you're right. All those computers, all those hardware devices whirring constantly and crunching those numbers, that's the backing. That's also what also secures the network, which is why the Bitcoin is worth what it is and what it has been, is because it's not hackable. And the reason why is because it's cryptographically secure, because you've got all these miners competing to verify transactions on the network, and it's safe.
Consensus.
Yeah,
it's consensus oriented.
It's safe. It at the very least was reliable. It's not as reliable anymore due to the backlog of transactions that it's currently experiencing, because it's become a victim of its own success and a victim of some programmers who just could not get it together and make it work. So now they're subject to competition that may be trying to eat their lunch in the form of Bitcoin Cash and several others. There's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you may join us here on Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
All right, let's go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Also, do want to let you know about the Blink Home Security System. It is so easy to install the Blink Home Security System that even Mark could do it within like 10 minutes. And all you really need to have is access to your smartphone and or tablet device, something that's got Wi-Fi on it, because you just connect to the little Wi-Fi box thing that comes with the Blink Home Security System. That is what interfaces with the wireless cameras that come with the Blink Home Security System, and you just get it all connected together. You can set up certain times you want the cameras to be active, and they will shoot over to you a notice on your phone or whatever device you use that something moved, something set off the camera, and whether you're home or not, you'll get those notices. And again, it's completely customizable as far as when it's active, and as I say, it's wireless, which means no drilling holes, no running cables, no having to worry about hooking up a complicated DVR system, none of that crap.
Plug and play, this thing really has been no trouble at all to me.
Yeah, it's rare when plug and play really is as easy as it should be, and this is one of those times when it really was easy. BlinkProtect.com/FTL, that gets you 3 Blink cams for the price of what some of the other guys charge for one. BlinkProtect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Vernon is with us in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live on the Live Sunday edition. Hey, Vernon.
So I feel like you all promote, and okay, so let me make my point real quick, then y'all can tear into it.
Okay.
I feel like
tear into you.
that you all might use Bitcoin as a nostalgic reason for your cause as far as freedom, because I have 2 points. One, I would never use Bitcoin if I had to pay even a dime more than what I would use with cash, because I'm already paying 10% sales tax. And then my second point is that it seems like it's ridiculously hard to use. And I have never used it, and I probably should try it. But if my mom couldn't figure out how to use it, she can't even figure out how to use a smartphone. She's still on a flip phone.
Yep.
I don't even know if I could use it. And so using a dollar bill, which I know represents the government and the state, but handing someone a dollar bill is far easier it sounds like to me than using Bitcoin, and it just seems so complicated. Maybe I'm wrong though.
I see where you're coming from on that, and it is it's actually a lot easier now to use cryptocurrencies like Dash or Bitcoin than it was 5 years ago. But it is still to the point where there's a slight learning curve involved in in getting into it. And I agree, if you're somebody who has trouble programming a VCR or whatever, then you probably shouldn't be getting into cryptocurrencies.
Right. If you've got a debt,
programming a VCR is harder than getting a Bitcoin wallet.
That's true.
Yeah, that's probably true.
If you've got a debt of $20 or $100 or something like that, it's a heck of a lot easier to hand somebody a 20 or 5 20s and cover your debt.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're making a purchase of $7.85, you've got your phone out and you've got the app open to make the purchase. The QR code comes up on the little scanner machine. You push the pay button, the button to take the picture of the QR code, and then the send button. You've touched it twice. It's easier to do that than it is to pull out a 10, get change made for, what did I say, $7.82, and then
count it back,
take back the $2.17.
Presuming they counted it right.
Right. And, put that in your pocket, fumble with the receipt, the person behind you is waiting, and all those things. So I would...
It can be faster is what you're saying.
It certainly can be faster.
But it isn't always.
No, it's not. And there's a learning curve. I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
But the learning curve isn't that difficult. And Dash... our sponsor here is focusing on making their money, as this is their quote, So easy your mother could use it.
Is that right? Is that their
That's their quote, not ours.
That's great stuff.
And
if that is something they can accomplish, then they're going to really, I think, take off.
Right, and they've got years to make that happen. It's not something that's going to happen in
I thought they
days.
were doing it in 2018. The Dash
Evolution is coming out, and it will be a supposedly better. But I mean, they again, all they have to do is be better than the other digital currency that's out there.
It's not hard to be better than Bitcoin at this point. It's pretty messed up.
Now I'll tell you this. This is something that Bitcoin's really good at. Let's say you need to, move money across international borders. You want to, for whatever reason, you're moving a great deal of money from here to Belize. You're going to be better off using Bitcoin in many cases than trying to move currency through. Like, you can only take $10,000 on an airplane.
You're probably going to get interviewed real hard, even if you try to take $9,000 on an airplane.
This is probably going to be a little conversation with the TSA and those kind of things. So, Bitcoin is still an international currency as sort of a settlement layer.
But I agree with you, Vernon. If the fees are, like you said, if it was 10 cents to pay $1, most people aren't going to do it. Most people are not going to see the value.
To really advocate it, and maybe you all personally do it because it does. Maybe it supports your cause of freedom and getting away from the state and not having to use the state's money. And so, is it worth it to you all personally to pay those extra fees on top of the taxes that I imagine these Bitcoin receivers still have to pay?
Well, so in New Hampshire there's no sales tax, but certainly there's taxes at like restaurants or whatever. So there are some taxes. I don't know how businesses handle their tax burdens or whatever. I suspect most of them will mark down whatever the sale amount is in dollars and then pay whatever tax they need to pay to the state in dollars, and then they'll just hold on to their crypto in the hopes that it'll go up in value. But yes, I'm an evangelist for cryptocurrency. I believe that cryptocurrency is a key towards achieving more peace, because the more money that we can take out of the hands of the state and the banking system and put into the hands of people, the less likely it is ever to go and purchase things like bombs that will kill innocent people all around the globe. So for me, spending several cents on $1, or even as I was for a while, I'd spend the $2 to buy a $10 burger or whatever when the fees were $2 or $3 as they were for most of the summertime and most of the fall thus far. They've just recently shot up to $5, $7, $10, $13, and now I can't justify it anymore.
Now you're priced out of the marketplace. Yep. I'm of the opinion that I'm going to do the thing that's easiest and is going to be lowest cost. So if it's cash, then it's cash. If it's Dash,
well, cash is almost always the lowest cost.
Not
as far
always,
as like there's no fee.
Well, I mean, in some cases you need to change your crypto into cash to get the cash in the first place to be able to make the transaction.
People who don't have crypto don't have that problem.
I'm telling you,
I see what you're saying. For you.
He asked me, what do you guys do? And I'm saying that I do the thing that is easiest to do and has the lowest fee. And some cases that's crypto. I'm an evangelist. I certainly want it to work, but I'm not going to spend $2 for a transaction fee on a $10 hamburger like Ian was willing to do. No, just not going to do. Not paying $12 for an already overpriced hamburger.
Okay, great. One final question for you all, and then I'll get off. If you all didn't derive so much sponsorship from these cryptocurrencies for your show, would you still be as evangelistic about this cause as you are?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 100% I would be as evangel. I mean,
there was a time when Roger was not sponsoring the show, where he had backed out from sponsorship because
that's true.
He was trying to
get a burden.
Yeah, he had to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars to the United States government for back taxes or whatever.
I don't think you should guess at that number and misreport it.
Okay, that's what I'd heard, but I didn't think it was a guess, Mark. That's my understanding of what was going on there. But he had to pay a lot of money to the U.S. government.
A lot of money is the correct number.
Yeah, I think it was six digits. But regardless, it was a lot, and he was a little more burdened than he was normally, and so he stopped advertising for a period of a couple years, I think, here on Free Talk Live, and we still talked about Bitcoin.
Yes, absolutely. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, these are the things that are going to strip the power from these organizations, these outmoded organizations that call themselves states or governments these days. Governments don't change. These are service organizations that historically have never changed without a great deal of pressure. I'm hoping that pressure isn't revolution, that it's simply something like, hey, you're going to need to modify this money system. Currently what you're doing with making bankers rich and making the rest of us poor, that's not working.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I know, Johnny Ray, you were trying to get in there with something. We can continue here in moments. 855-450-3733. And maybe we need to pick back up on economics in one lesson since I don't know how many months it's been. Since we've done that, we can talk about unions here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown. But these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. The NSA has noticed how much time you spend on conservative news sites. We have no choice but to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Tired of your internet activity being monitored by Big Brother? Get VirtualShield.com, the world's easiest to use virtual private network. Browse the web anonymously, leaving pesky advertisers and spies in the dust. Get started today at VirtualShield.com. Take advantage of our free 30-day trial. VirtualShield.com. You have the right to remain private.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
is Free Talk Live, live Sunday edition of the program. As always, we invite you to join us here on the radio waves and take control. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, you had a story about tulip fever. Now, is this in relation to what Jamie Dimon was talking about, where people, decades ago?
Decades?
Hundreds of years?
Hundreds of years. Centuries ago.
Went all kind of crazy on buying tulips for investment purposes or something like that? What was that?
Right. I mean, it's not too long. You don't have a conversation about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for too long before somebody's going to say, tulip mania.
I had never heard this before.
Yes,
a couple of months ago when this Jamie Dimon guy from Chase Bank said something about it.
I don't know. You usually have a very good memory for what occurs on air. Not the rest of your life, but for what occurs on air, you usually have a very good memory. The idea that you don't remember us talking about tulip fever is absolutely it surprises the heck out of me. But I can assure you, you have heard of this.
Okay.
And maybe
I don't recall anything about it.
Yeah, maybe you will remember when I bring it back up, but
I remember when we talked about it a few months ago, but
there are two arguments.
I don't remember much about it
against for Bitcoin being a bubble that people will trot out. Those two arguments are A, tulip fever, and B, beanie babies.
Well, how about C? It looks like it could be a bubble. You know, if you look at the price, just keeps shooting up. You figure it's going to pop.
Bubbles are generally created by the government, pumping money into a particular area. There are, and I'm not saying that those are the only two arguments that exist.
Right.
Those are the ones you're going to hear.
I see. Okay.
So, beanie babies, your rebuttal to that would be, well, they didn't exactly have intrinsic value, right? Like, there's no good argument for a beanie baby being worth $5,000 or whatever when Ty can make as many of a particular one as it wants.
Yeah.
The marketplace was finding the value of a particular beanie baby. And I mean, you can look at comic books. Action Comics #1 is worth a great deal. The first appearance of Superman, for those who need to know. It's worth a great deal. It's probably steadily gone up with some vacillation over time. But it's artificial in the amount that are out there. You can go get a second reprint. You can get some kind of reprinting of this.
But that's not worth the same amount.
It's not worth anywhere near it, right? Like, it has to be the original.
Right.
They're not making any more
because they're
of those.
Scarce.
Yeah.
That's why those are extremely valuable, because they're scarce and people want them.
Right. And time has made them scarce.
Bitcoin is scarce. There are only 21 million that are going to come out.
Agreed. I think Bitcoin is better. I think it's better looked at, though, as a currency, or at least at one point. I'm not ready to say what Bitcoin's worth at this moment. There's been some weird things that happened in the last couple of months, but I would say it'd be better to look at it as a currency and look at its market cap possibilities as a result of that and what it could be worth. I think it's far more comparable to any currency than it is to beanie babies and tulips. But let me read this tulip story. This is from the Smithsonian, so not exactly your bastion of libertarian thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be unbiased, at least unbiased by our standards. There never was a real tulip fever. The new movie sets its doomed entrepreneurs amidst the 17th century.
There's a movie about this?
Yeah, that's what it says. What 17th century, Ian?
The 1800s?
No.
1600s.
Yes.
There you go.
But historians of the phenomenon have their own bubble to burst. When tulips came to the Netherlands, all the world went mad. A sailor who mistook a rare tulip bulb for an onion ate it with his herring sandwich. He was charged with a felony and thrown in prison. A bulb named Semper Augustus, notable for its flame-like white and red petals, sold for more than the cost of a mansion.
Wow.
In a fashionable Amsterdam neighborhood, complete with coach and garden. As the tulip market grew, speculation exploded, with traders offering exorbitant prices for bulbs that had yet to flower. And then, as any financial bubble will do, the tulip market imploded. sending traders of all incomes into ruins. I remember one story about an orphanage that put all of its extra money into tulip bulbs, and then it crashes and they've got nothing. For decades, economists had pointed to the 17th century tulip mania as a warning about the perils of the free market. Writers and historians have reveled in the absurdity of the event. The incident even provides the backdrop for the new film Tulip Fever, based on a novel of the same name by Deborah McGoch. I don't know.
Okay.
The only problem, none of these stories are true.
Oh, no.
What really happened, and how did the story of Dutch tulip speculation get so distorted? Anne Goldgar discovered the historical reality when she dug into the archives to research her book, Tulip Mania.
Boy, this Tulip Fever really got a panning over at Rotten Tomatoes. 1 star. 8%. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's probably a bunch of socialists that are like, boo, we had our tulips to blame on the capitalists.
It's possible it's just a bad movie.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Quite likely. Tulip Mania, money, honor, and the knowledge in the Dutch Golden Age. And knowledge in the Dutch. I always joke that the book should be called Tulip Mania. More boring than you thought, says Goldgar, a professor of early modern history at King's College in London. People are so interested in this incident because they think they can draw lessons from it. I don't think it's necessarily the case. But before you even attempt to apply what happened in the Netherlands to more recent bubbles, the South Sea bubble of the 1700s in England, the 19th century railway bubble, the dot-com bubble, and bitcoins are just a few comparisons. This is Smithsonian.com that just said that. That just said bitcoins. They're just a few of the comparison Goldgar has seen. You have to understand Dutch society at the turn of the 17th century. For starters, the country experienced a major demographic shift during its war for independence from Spain, which began in the 1560s and continued into the 1600s. It was during this period that merchants arrived in port cities like Amsterdam, Haarlem, Delft, and established trading outfits, including the famous Dutch East India Company. There was a Dutch West India Company, too, just for your understanding. This explosion in international commerce brought enormous fortune to the Netherlands. Despite the war, in their newly independent nation, the Dutch were mainly led by urban oligarchies comprised of wealthy merchants, unlike other European countries of the area, which were controlled by landed nobility. So, sort of a new nobility that made it by merit of making money, as opposed to an old nobility that had
family connections.
Yeah, family connections that were established through the point of a sword.
Yeah.
Not to say that they didn't rule; they ruled. As Goldgar writes in her book, the resultant new faces, new money, and new ideas helped to revolutionize the Dutch economy in the late 16th century. And this is absolutely true. You want to, I think that, good libertarians that like to do their reading and check out their history, you need to understand the history of the Dutch from like 1600s to 1800s, and that that it's worth reading. Also check out the Quakers and, historic Iceland, and there's a few other things you can check into.
And the Holy Roman Empire for decentralization.
Yeah, that's a good argument. But you're still stuck in the people were serfs. They really didn't leave their land very much. So, even if the country's the size of large counties, it really didn't matter very much because you weren't going anywhere. But yeah, it's worth taking a look at, right? As the economy changed, so too did the social interactions and cultural values. A growing interest in natural history and fascination with the exotic among the merchant class meant that goods from the Ottoman Empire and farther east fetched high prices.
Sure, they're unique. You can't get them around there.
Right. This is why spices. This is why the Silk Road was so so valuable, because spices were
the original Silk Road.
The real, yeah. The influx of these goods also drove men of all social classes to acquire expertise in newly in-demand areas. One example Goldgar gives is fish auctioneer, this name, whose watercolor illustrated manuscript whale book allowed him to actually meet the president of Holland when Dutch botanist Corollas Clausius established a botanical garden at the University of Leiden in the 1890s. The tulip quickly rose to a place of honor. It's a beautiful flower. If you've had any chance to, look at tulips in bloom in spring, they're gorgeous. Daffodils and tulips, they're the first things to come up, and both beautiful flowers. Originally found growing wild in the valleys of the Tian Shan Mountains in the border where China and Tibet met Afghanistan and Russia, tulips were cultivated in Istanbul as early as 1055. By the 15th century, Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire had so many flowers in his 12 gardens that he required a staff of 920 gardeners.
All right, more on the history of tulips here, because, Mark, what you're building up to here is that there wasn't a tulip fever?
That's right.
All right, we're going to continue in moments. Hour number 3 is on the way. You can bring up what you want on Free Talk Live.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, November 12th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.89 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,175. Antiwar.com reports that Russia's lower house of parliament is advancing a measure which will allow the Russian government to take moves to label certain U.S. media outlets as foreign agents under law, forcing them to disclose substantial information about their operations within that country. Details are still scant, but the move is described as being meant to take similar measures as those by the U.S. Department of Justice, which has ordered Russia's RT to register as a foreign agent. Russia has threatened retaliation before over the move against RT. The suggestion of it being similar is that the move will likely target Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, media outlets which are organized as quasi-independent government media in virtually identical ways to RT. U.S. officials accuse RT of being part of an effort to sway U.S. elections because they covered a debate involving minor party candidates, a debate which mainstream U.S. media outlets would not cover. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports 8 guests and 1 worker at Disneyland have contracted Legionnaire's disease, prompting the Anaheim, California theme park to close a pair of cooling towers. According to the Orange County Healthcare Agency, in addition to the 9 cases, 3 other people who live in or traveled to Anaheim developed the disease. The 12 victims range from 52 years to 94 years old. Orange County Healthcare Public Information Officer Jessica Good said 10 of the people were hospitalized and 1 person with additional health issues died despite not visiting the park. 55 cases of the disease have been reported this year in Orange County. About 3 weeks ago, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notified county authorities of several cases of the disease among people who traveled to Orange County in September. By the end of October, Disneyland learned of the cases. On November 3rd, Disney informed the health agency that routine testing had detected elevated levels of Legionella bacteria in 2 cooling towers a month earlier. The company said the towers, located in a space more than 100 feet from areas accessible to guests, were disinfected and returned to service last Sunday. On Tuesday, Disney took the towers down again because the health agency ordered them to verify they were free of Legionella contamination. Walt Disney Parks and Resorts Chief Medical Officer Pamela Heimel said Disney conducted more tests on all of their water towers. The type of pneumonia was named Legionnaire's disease after an outbreak of pneumonia caused 34 deaths at a 1976 American Legion convention in Philadelphia. Legionnaire's disease is caused by bacteria growing in water that can spread when small droplets get into the air and people breathe them in. It is not, however, contagious from person to person. People generally contract the disease 2 days after exposure and usually can be treated with antibiotics, according to the CDC, which says 1 in 10 people die from the infection. Symptoms include cough, shortness of breath, fever, muscle aches, and headaches. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports 3 UCLA men's basketball players detained in China over allegations of shoplifting last week were not on the team's return flight to the United States on Saturday. Citing unnamed sources, ESPN reported the 3 students, freshman LeAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill, will remain in China for a week or 2. The 3 players were questioned about allegedly stealing from a Louis Vuitton store during the team's visit to China. They were taken into police custody on Tuesday morning and released early on Wednesday. A source told Reuters that police had released the 3 on conditions they remain at the hotel during the legal process. However, the U.S. Department of State and college officials have declined to say how long the legal process might take. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A study published Friday by the University of Minnesota found that mosquitoes have no physiological reason for biting humans, with researchers noting that the insects feed exclusively on pollen and seemingly only suck human blood out of spite.
According to our findings, mosquitoes usually spit out the blood after a bite. They just really enjoy ruining outdoor activities and spreading deadly diseases.
Researchers added that mosquitoes often bite a variety of vertebrates besides humans, including baby pandas, koala bears, and very small puppies, all for fun. And in tech news, a new Visa talking credit card urges buyers to go for it.
Come on, buy it. You know you want it.
In other news, the utterance of a secret password grants customers access to a long-rumored 18-inch Subway sandwich. It's easy to tell what an area man would look like as a skeleton, and a longtime teacher retires without changing a single student's life. This week's scheduled interview with the surly and forlorn Matthew Modine was cut for time and is doomed to never be seen. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the show. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Dial in toll-free here at 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the history of the tulip, strangely enough. The reason for this is because some of these bankers, like Jamie Dimon, have trotted out the claim that Bitcoin is somehow like tulips. that there was this supposed tulip mania, tulip craze that happened in the Netherlands, was it?
Right, that's where the craze was, yeah.
Back in the 1600s, I think you said it was.
Right.
And Mark, you've been sharing a detailed article from the Smithsonian that is getting into kind of the history. It's sort of just kind of started talking about the history of unique things like tulips, and then it's talking a little bit more about tulips now. So if you want to continue, we'll do that here. But first, let's go to John. He's in Nevada on Skype. Hello, John.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that I think what we're seeing now is the great robustness and strength of the whole cryptocurrency project, in that, for the first time we have exit. And exit is such an important libertarian strategy. From secession, well, crypto coins are a kind of economic secession.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in a position where, okay, well, are we locked into Bitcoin? Well, if you think there's something wrong with Bitcoin, then you exit. And we've never had such efficient exit before. We've never had such fast exit before.
Yep.
And so people are going to get scared by, the way things happen at a faster pace than ever before.
Right.
But I think it's actually a very good thing. And it indicates that the problems we have with crypto coins are probably going to be solved for this very reason.
Right, because the marketplace is going to put pressure on these coins.
Right.
And maybe that means that Bitcoin will get fixed because the people who are so thoroughly invested,
they got to fix it. They got competition.
It's the biggest network by factors of any crypto out there.
Starting to change.
That's true, but it is the biggest network. There are just, the amount of mines that are working in the Bitcoin sphere and all that stuff.
Although Bitcoin Cash has had its mining hash power pass Bitcoin now.
Sure, the hash power is one thing. Yeah. It's another thing as to how many people are working on how many projects with Bitcoin Cash at its center, and I would say the answer to that is very few.
More than before.
More than before, absolutely. There's, I'm not saying
this is the pressure we're talking about that's on Bitcoin right now.
I got it. Yeah. I don't think that there's necessarily going to only be one Bitcoin.
There's not. In fact, there's Bitcoin Gold that has apparently launched today. Our Wednesday night co-host said that this was a scam and that it probably would never happen. It looks like it may be happening, although what does launching actually mean? When I went to their site after they supposedly launched, there wasn't any software you could download, so they supposedly were putting software up, but it wasn't there. So maybe it's up now and it just wasn't there when they were supposed to be launched. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be ready for the third or fourth launch.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin Gold.
Sounds like garbage.
But there is Bitcoin Cash and there is Bitcoin, and I agree with you. Bitcoin Cash is definitely putting the pressure on now. All these Bitcoin core people, the original Bitcoin, they just thought they could rest easy at the top, and they got somebody trying to nip at their heels now, and I think that's a good thing. That's what you're saying here, right?
Yeah, so when Bitcoin Cash forked, I saw that as first of all, a hedge against Bitcoin. If something goes wrong with Bitcoin, well, then Bitcoin Cash may be ready to step in, and also kind of as a stalking horse, because it's been following on Bitcoin's heels these last few months, and since the Bitcoin people are not really following their promise to go through and increase the block size to 2x, well, now they're getting consequences for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these are good things. I think they show the health of the system. I don't think it's important if the cryptocurrency that becomes the digital cash that changes the world. I don't think it's important if that's the exact project that Satoshi started.
Yeah, something's gonna win, and whether it's Bitcoin or not, it's a good question. I think you bring up a great point here, this idea of exiting a currency and how difficult it would have been in the past, right? Like if before the days of cryptocurrency, if you had a bunch of dollars and you wanted to get out of that, well, you could buy gold. You could try to exchange your dollars into some other world currency and hope that they don't inflate the hell out of that one, which of course they're almost guaranteed to. You could buy diamonds or some other like physical thing or real estate or something like that, but all of these things take a lot of time and effort to try to to accomplish these tasks, to change from one into the next. And the idea of cryptocurrency allowed people to exit the old money system generally, whether it was getting into Bitcoin or the Ether or one of the other ones, doesn't matter which, they're exiting that old money system. And if they want to exit Bitcoin or they want to exit Ether or Bitcoin Cash, it's usually just a matter of a simple trade on a market, which they can accomplish as long as Bitcoin is transacting within a matter of an hour or something like that. So the speed of exit or the potential for it is much higher, and I think that's an interesting point.
Right. The point of Bitcoin originally, and ultimately the point of all crypto coins to one extent or another, is to take over the financial world, is to allow everyone in the world who wants to exit the fiat systems.
Well, that's what we thought. That's what that's what we all thought about Bitcoin. But there's the people who are in charge of Bitcoin now who seem to don't. They're
it's a settlement layer.
Yeah, you can use credit cards. PayPal's fine, is what they've been saying.
Yeah, and a lot of that
crazy.
talk is scary. When people on the core dev start saying use PayPal, then you're going, okay, I don't think you guys get this at all.
Right.
But,
these are not the people who should be programming Bitcoin.
Right. But this is a wake up call for them.
Right.
And but my second point here is that this is an extremely huge project, and it's going to be extremely volatile for the foreseeable future.
No doubt.
We can't expect taking over the world's money to be smooth and steady,
those banks are going to fight tooth and nail to retain their place in the world.
There's going to be much bigger crises than this down the line. But
good point.
I think that cryptocurrency, the blockchain, has the potential to solve these problems and to win these battles in the future. And so, long term, I'm very optimistic.
I love it. Great call, John. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. I tend to agree. I am also very optimistic for cryptocurrency in general. I'm not as optimistic about the immediate future of Bitcoin, and I hope that he's right. I hope that this new competitor of Bitcoin Cash really puts a fire underneath these Bitcoin programmers to where they figure something out and do something to make Bitcoin useful again, because right now it's not useful at all.
Right. I would say that, I've recommended diversification for some time here on the air. I'm still an advocate of diversification. I am also an advocate that when the market zigs, you zag. And currently, zigging means sell Bitcoin, run to other things, right? And it's going to be difficult to get your transaction through. It's expensive to do right now. The price is lower.
Didn't you sell some Bitcoin?
When are you talking about?
Didn't you just tell me you bought some Bitcoin Cash recently?
This has been weeks.
Oh, I thought you bought it recently.
No, it's weeks.
Okay.
I bought it back at the rate.
So you bought it at a good time. Then.
Yeah, I bought it about the rate that it at a Bitcoin as what it was worth when I sold it.
Gotcha.
And I was happy to have done that. I managed to pay off my house, which was great, and then I recouped some Bitcoin Cash, and I've got a certain amount of that. But I would say that running away from Bitcoin right now, some kind of panic sell, doesn't seem
that's
like
totally what I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally.
But I'm not an investor. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I'm just making the point that a panic sell is almost always a bad idea.
Well, I didn't sell it all. I only sold, a portion of it, a very, small portion of it.
I understand.
I had fear of missing out last week as the price of Bitcoin was running up. So I bought Bitcoin
but yours
because
was
I didn't
early,
want to miss out.
And you would have been at the right time, presuming your transactions go through as you had hoped them they would go through.
Yeah, I was on the bubble, except the Bitcoin network was so congested and full of people trying to get out of Bitcoin that I couldn't do anything.
Right, so you got screwed because of that. Toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. More about the Tulip Mania. Was it really everything it's cracked up to be? Mark's going to say, no, actually, it wasn't. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to never let fire into your home and make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can Skype in to join us at Skype username LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Also, don't forget, if you want to shop with us to help Free Talk Live and get the stuff you want online at a great price, go to shop.freetalklive.com. Holiday season is pretty much upon us here at this point. Black Friday rolling up in the next couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And so you know the deals are going to be present. You can help Free Talk Live out. We've got a Walmart link for you over there at shop.freetalklive.com. And a couple Amazon links for those of you in the UK and Canada. Sorry, Amazon US broke up with us last month. So those of you in the US, you can use our Walmart link, and that'll help Free Talk Live too. So head over to shop.freetalklive.com and get your shopping taken care of and feel good because Free Talk Live benefits when you do that. Once again, that's shop.freetalklive.com. www.freetalklive.com. Mark, you were sharing with us a story from the Smithsonian, a detailed piece about tulip fever. And you were getting into kind of like the history of the tulip, of man's obsession, apparently, with this flower that was found apparently in Asia.
Right. That's China. Yeah. The high market price for tulips, to which the current version of Tulip Mania refers, were prices for particularly beautiful broken bulbs, writes the economist Peter Garber. Since breaking was unpredictable, some have characterized tulip mania among growers as a gamble, which growers vying to produce better and more bizarre variegations and feathering. After all the money the Dutch speculators spent on the bulbs, they only produced flowers for about a week. But for tulip lovers, that week was a glorious one. Mm-hmm. As luxury objects, tulips fit well into a culture of both abundant capital and new cosmopolitanism, Goldgar writes. Tulips required expertise and an appreciation of beauty and the exotic and, of course, an abundance of money. Here's where the myth comes into play. According to popular legend, the tulip craze took hold of all levels of Dutch society in the 1630s.
Everybody had to have it.
Right. The rage among the Dutch to possess them was so great that the ordinary industry of the country was neglected. This is a quote, by the way. And the population, even to its lowest dregs, embarked in the tulip trade. So you have got bums with one eye and a peg leg. Tulips! Tulips! Right? Is what we're to believe, wrote Scottish journalist Charles Mackay in his popular 1841 work, The Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. According to his narrative, everyone from the wealthiest merchants to the poorest chimney sweeps jumped into the tulip fray, buying bulbs at high prices and selling them for even more. Companies formed just to deal with the tulip trade, which reached a fever pitch by the late 1636. And by February 1637, the bottom fell out of the market. More and more people defaulted on their agreement to buy the tulips at the prices they'd promised, and the traders who'd already made their payments were left in debt or bankrupt. At the least, that's what has always been claimed. In fact, there weren't that many people involved, and the economic repercussions were pretty minor, Bulgar says. I couldn't find anybody that went bankrupt. If there had been really a wholesale destruction of the economy, as the myth suggests, that would have been a much harder thing to face. And this is true today. You'll often find that the very wealthy pay for things that aren't going to last long, but show status right now. I'm thinking handbags.
Okay.
You can pay 5 figures for a purse. Not that I carry a purse, but a woman, a
man purse.
A person who's interested. I have a fanny pack, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, a woman can pay. Can buy a
Louis Vuitton.
You and I should not even come close to attempting to speculate.
A Burberry.
We have no idea what the names of these things are.
I know a couple of them. Probably the cheaper ones. There's probably some really fancy brands I've never heard of.
You know the stuff that is now sold at Target.
I know the stuff that there was years ago. A girlfriend of mine knew somebody who sold knockoffs, so I knew what some of the names were because of the knockoffs.
But what I'm saying is
Coach is a great
one of them,
bag.
Yeah.
But are they now?
I don't know.
That's the thing is that I wouldn't even hazard a guess because these things they're cyclical and I have no idea. But you can currently pay a lot of money for a bag that will be available to the public in 2 years. Basically, some knockoff or whatever will be available. Like, it's very difficult to tell. So the rich do this. They did it in the 1630s, and they do it now. And this didn't send orphans into bankruptcy, as we were to believe, according to the what we'd been told.
Now, the dude here is writing. It sounds like he did some research. He sounds like he looked to find examples of the fallout of this. But I got to say that you're looking at writings from the 1600s. There's probably not a whole lot of information about failed businesses. If you think about it, how many of the businesses in the Keene, New Hampshire area that have failed in the last year, that you're going to remember a year from now, or that they wrote a book about how they failed. I mean, so maybe there's not all the evidence out there that there could be to show what all the fallout was from this Tulip thing.
The evidence of this was written 200 years after.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence for the Tulip mania was written 200 years after Tulip mania in a different country.
Okay.
So
I'm not saying it wasn't blown out of proportion. It probably was.
Debunking that almost 150, almost 200 years later, more than 150 years later, is not outside of the realm. I mean, at this point, there's a historian.
I'm not trying to debunk the debunking here. I'm just saying to make the claim that nobody went bankrupt. I don't know about that.
No, they made the claim that there's no evidence.
I see. No evidence.
Anyone went bankrupt.
That doesn't mean that no one went bankrupt.
That's not to say that everything about the story is wrong. Yeah. Merchants really did engage in a frantic tulip trade, and they paid incredibly high prices for some bulbs. And when a number of buyers announced that they couldn't pay the high price previously agreed upon, the market did fall apart and cause a small crisis, but only because it undermined social expectations. In this case, it was very difficult to deal with the fact that almost all of our relationships are based on trust. And people said, I don't care that I said I'm going to buy this thing. I don't want it anymore. I'm not going to pay for it. There really was no mechanism to make people pay because the courts were unwilling to get involved. So here you had commitments, and probably in many cases verbal, maybe written, maybe some written commitments, and courts weren't interested in, applying them to anyone. And, this just showed how much the marketplace was based on trust. And this is another reason we should pay attention to cryptocurrencies, because they remove much of the trust from a financial transaction. So, but the trade didn't affect.
Correct.
Yeah. So if Tulip Mania wasn't actually a calamity, why was it made out to be one? We have the tetchy Christian moralist to blame for that. With great wealth comes great social anxiety, or as historian Simon Scholma writes in the Embarrassment of Riches, an interpretation of Dutch culture in the Golden Age, the prodigious quality of their success went to their heads, but it also made them quite queasy.
All right, I want to see where this is going here in moments. 855 450 free like freedom. Yeah, why is this all bandied about as though it was something when it wasn't? 855 450 free like freedom. You can join us here and bring up whatever's on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Live Sunday edition of the show. You are invited here to join us on the radio. Our number, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We're learning more than we've ever learned, I think, in one time about tulips. At least I am. The history of them and what happened with the tulip mania. Was it as pronounced as the people who've been talking about it over the years have made it sound? As bad as it has been made to sound? No, apparently not.
Right. Tulip mania was made to seem like this catastrophe that visited 1630s, Amsterdam, and that the economy in the Netherlands was laid waste, and really. There's just no historical evidence for this, and the comparisons of tulip mania to Bitcoin and so many other things are probably it's just inaccurate. To suggest that this occurred and it didn't occur, well, you can't use it as a comparison. Anyway, I want to tell you real quick about Whole Food Multi-Complete. It's much, much, much more than a multivitamin. It contains within it enzymes and probiotics, antioxidants, an immune support system, a bone and joint supplement, and even energy support. And I'd say that's absolutely true. I've been taking Whole Food Multi-Complete for a year now, and well, I got to say, life's better on this. It's given me a variety of things. Not only did it, knock off about 15 pounds off me, it, fixed a digestive issue I've been having for a long time. And, I'm getting better sleep than I was, too. Whole Food Multi-Complete has been doing what the big guys won't for 15 years now, making the perfect blend of supplements in a single product. They've taken the expense and complexity out of following a complete supplement program. Visit simplifymysupplements.com now to learn more. Enter coupon code FTL. Receive 10% off your order every time you order. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. I love this product and I'm going to continue using it. SimplifyMySupplements.com, coupon code FTL. Yes, they take Bitcoin.
All right. You can join us here at 855-450-FREE like freedom. In a moment, Mark, you're going to tell us more about how this story about the tulips became overblown. That's what the part you were going to get to. But first, we're going to go to Carl. He's in New Jersey listening to WPG. Hello, Carl.
Gentlemen, thanks for taking my call. I've been listening to your show all night about the tulips and stuff. But the Nakover Township, I guess, are left-wing right-wing politicians are going to soon need to come and take everybody's hammers, because a woman last week in the town I live in, her boyfriend beat her to death with a hammer. He'd been in trouble before, so I guess he couldn't get a gun.
Who got beaten to death with a hammer? A politician?
No, just a woman.
No, this woman with 3 kids that this guy lived with. I'm not sure the time. It was like somewhere around 4 a.m. 911 was called or something.
I wonder if alcohol was involved. Someone beaten to death with a hammer at 4 a.m.?
Yeah, and then see, the obituary didn't mention a husband. That's why I say the boyfriend. It mentioned her 3 children, though.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're devastated.
Yeah, and her parents took the children in, of course. But I mean, look, if people can't get guns, they'll use hammers, they'll use knives, they'll use vehicles to kill people. So, see, here's a big problem in New Jersey. That law-abiding citizens cannot get concealed carry. Very, very, almost impossible. And you know what? Not in this case, but in many cases, if you could carry a gun, concealed carry, as a law-abiding citizen, lives would be saved, because the police can't get there.
Yeah, unfortunately, you live in New Jersey, which has some of the worst gun laws in the United States. People who do want a concealed carry probably should not be living in New Jersey.
Right. Well, we're also the state that has the most people fleeing, because we got the highest property taxes in the
higher than New York.
Also. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And we've got a new governor. When he gets brought in, he's for raising the he wants to tax the rich more. That never happens. Us working stiff that our taxes go higher. He wants to become a sanctioned state. He wants community college for everyone.
Well, it sounds like New Jersey is competing hard with New York to head toward the bottom of the pack. They've
got high property taxes. They've got an income tax. They've got a sales tax.
Yeah, they're already at number 46, I think it was, on the Freedom in the 50 States, and New York at number 50. But New York is way below number 49, which is California. So if New Jersey's trying to displace number 50, they're going to have to really put some work into it. Thanks for the call tonight, Carl. I appreciate hearing from you. As we continue, Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, yes. So it was announced that they're going to put a lot of extra lighting, along the pedestrian ways in the new rapid transit.
Okay.
So I'm excited. So this will, it
doesn't take a lot to get you excited.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be almost bright as like daylight at nighttime on Central. And that boulevard has been known to have like prostitution, pimps. They've been, for years, bulldozing down.
What do you got against prostitution?
Well, the thing is, we don't want to see this. People want to,
So if they put some lights on a rapid transit, that's going to make prostitutes go away?
Make them go someplace else.
Well, I think so. The pimps.
Are there no lights around US 41 where the prostitutes like to hang out?
They usually walk.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's gonna have like 15 times more lights, and also an emergency button. If a student's getting robbed with a pencil, like they did last month,
and they happen to be right next to a button, they can press it, right?
That's right. They have all these emergency
That's so useful, because all robberies happen right next to an emergency button. None of the crooks who are going to hold somebody up at knife point are going to be wise enough to keep away from the emergency buttons, right?
Are people who have concealed carry permits going to be allowed to ride on the bus?
Good question.
Sarah?
Well, I don't know about that particular detail. You have to ask the city. But you know what? They never had an emergency button at all in Central, ever. So this is the first time we're going to have these megawatt lights all night. They're going to be seen. People that might aggressively panhandle.
How many tons of carbon do you think these new lights are going to produce while they're shining like sunlight all night long?
I have no idea.
I don't know about you, Sarah, but I've seen, you mentioned panhandlers. Most of the panhandlers I see are out during broad daylight. So
they want to be where the people are.
Yeah, light isn't keeping those people away. But I do generally agree with you that light does stop crime.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, that's a proven fact. If you look at the United Kingdom, when they put in the millions of CCTV cameras that they put in, a decade ago or something, a little while back. They put in all these CCTV cameras, and then the studies were done later that showed that the cameras actually weren't reducing crime, that it was actually street lights that were the biggest factor in whether or not criminal activity was occurring. Thank you for the call tonight, although I don't consider prostitution to be a real crime because there's no victim in that case. Those are victimless crimes. Those are people consenting to sexual activity. If you say that you don't want to see that, if you don't want to see prostitutes on the street corner, then the answer is not street lights, but to legalize prostitution in that case, because then they don't have any reason to stand out on the streets. They can go indoors. They can advertise themselves on the internet. They can advertise in local magazines, those kinds of things. Prostitution should be legalized. Anyway, let's continue here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're going to talk more about these tulips.
All the outlandish stories of economic ruin, of an innocent sailor thrown into prison for eating a tulip bulb, of chimney sweeps wading into the market in hopes of striking it rich. Those come from propaganda pamphlets published by Dutch Calvinists worried that the tulip-propelled consumerism boom would lead to social decay. Their insistence that such great wealth was ungodly was even stayed with us to this day.
You're going to have to read that again coming up here because that was pretty ridiculous. This was a religious movement that spread all these lies?
Yeah.
There's more coming up here in moments. 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
A Rasmussen poll reveals that nearly all American voters share a deep fear of botching another election, with most voters admitting that selecting candidates for public office is something they're historically just not particularly good at.
I really hope I don't completely fuck things up as usual, but you never know. Things do happen.
According to the poll, 3/4 of voters said Election Day panic would cause them to base their vote entirely on hearsay, while 93% acknowledged that they only recognized names of local candidates from signs along state highways. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, stunned friends and acquaintances expressed shock and disbelief when a body found in the woods turned out not to be Justin. Local residents found the naked corpse draped over a tree stump Saturday, and as news spread, many found themselves struggling to comprehend how it wasn't Justin lying dead in the forest.
I heard the news, and I still can't come around to it. I just can't imagine that it's not Justin there lying dead in the woods. Are they absolutely sure it's not him?
Friends and family are still urging authorities to double-check the body, or at the very least, bring in Justin as a suspect.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Enough time for you if you dial in now. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. With you here in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
You've got Johnny Ray.
And you've got Mark.
As we go to your calls and thoughts, don't forget, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, please join the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. You go to AMP. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is you send in $5 a month, or you can send Bitcoin. Don't know why you would do that, because it would probably cost you $10 just to send the Bitcoin to us. But it's there for you in case you want to use it. We'll see if we can get some Bitcoin Cash set up on this. I don't know how hard that's going to be to implement, but at some point we'll try to add something in there besides Bitcoin. But PayPal, credit card, you can do those too over at amp.freetalklive.com. And you'll get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group. You get a special AMP badge on our brand new forum, which, by the way, the offer that Roger Veer and I made on Friday night, apparently all it took to get people to try out the Free Talk Live forum was to simply pay them to do it, Mark, because we offered Roger offered $1 worth of Bitcoin Cash to anybody that posted their Bitcoin Cash address on a certain forum thread on forum.freetalklive.com. And I said, I want to match that. I'm going to do $1. Roger's going to do $1. So $2 worth of Bitcoin Cash to anybody, the first 100 people who respond to this forum thread. Earlier today, I made good on my promise, sent out about $41 worth of Bitcoin Cash. So we're about halfway there. There's still another, if you heard us talking about that on Friday and you thought you were too late to get in on that, it's not too late.
Turns out not everybody wants to make an introduction thread, then make another thread requesting $2.
But at least 40 people did want to do that, Mark,
great.
And that's the largest number of signups we've ever had in one day on the Free Talk Live
Should have done
forum.
it for newsletter signups on freetalklive.com's newsletter.
Oh, that's a neat idea. You can offer $1 worth of Bitcoin Cash to do that if you want. But right now, the $1 is for people signing up for the forum. So head on over to forum.freetalklive.com and you can do that. And if you are an amplifier, just let me know you've signed up. You can send me a private message on the forum. You'll see my posts everywhere, pretty much on every welcome introduction thread I usually post. So just send me a message or email me at ian@freetalklive.com and I'll get you your special AMP badge so everybody knows at a glance that you're a Free Talk Live amplifier over at, and again, you can sign up for AMP if you have not done that over at amp.freetalklive.com. So we go to Dan in Nebraska, who I believe is one of the people who signed up for the forum recently. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, actually, you're right. Thanks for the Bitcoin Cash, by the way.
Excellent. You're welcome. Go ahead.
And so I heard Sarah's call, and it kind of reminded me of an article I read a little bit ago about how there was like a brothel that opened up in Spain that was made entirely out of like robots, and the local prostitute union kept petitioning until they ended up getting like their license taken away or whatever, and they ended up having to close down. I just thought it was kind
wonder
of funny.
what they did it based on, but I did hear that they had basically sex doll. I don't know. Brothel probably isn't the right term because brothel means something specific. This is people cavorting with plastic. Like this is not what happens in a brothel. But it's I didn't hear that they had gotten shut down by the prostitute union, which is funny.
Dan?
Well, I don't know. I ended up seeing that story on the Reddit forum for MGTOW probably a little bit ago.
MGTOW.
It was actually kind of a few months old.
MGTOW.
Yeah,
that is the men going their own way movement?
That is right. It's a pretty big Reddit presence if you ever go on there.
And these are men who are like pretty jaded against women, right?
That is correct.
So is it the idea of the MGTOW is that you're just going to be alone for the rest of your life, or
that you
alone?
Yeah, that's basically so bad. It.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and alone means alone. If you're, a man going your own way with, your bro, you're not alone.
I thought the idea was that, I guess I misunderstood the MGTOW thing. I thought the idea was you're supposed to work on yourself and improve yourself, and that eventually, you might have a chance with somebody, who comes along into your own life. The idea is to just completely shun contacts with women instead?
No, it's not to shun. It's just not to pursue relationships
not to pursue.
That point anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
no more.
I have a lot of sympathy for this position, Ian. I mean, I got to say that...
Sympathy or empathy?
Both.
Okay.
But I mean, sympathy. I have to.
Sympathy means you feel sorry for them. Empathy means you can relate.
I don't want to play word games with you, Ian.
That's not a game. It's a definition.
I understand. Yeah. I don't need to define them. I said sympathy. It's fine. Okay. You don't need to say empathy. It's not.
I'm just wondering what you meant, because sometimes when people say sympathy, they mean empathy. I just want to clarify.
Right. I have a lot of sympathy for this position, and my sympathy is that look, you got to make a lot of compromises to be in a relationship. In many cases, those compromises are too great for the relationship that you get. If you make fewer compromises, I believe you're more likely to get a good
better
relationship.
Sure.
And if you don't, at the very least, you didn't make a whole bunch of compromises to get a crappy relationship.
No doubt.
It's a really cool idea, and it is not something that we're inculcated with from birth. The inculcation is that women are a domesticating force upon men, and that men need to, obey women in the household because they're the household managers. That men are essentially, money-earning livestock for the family unit. That they are, that they're
kind of what you do.
Well, I mean, as men, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you bring money back to the family unit, and then the wife in women spend 70% of household income.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're usually spending it on things for the household. They're not buying diamond rings and stuff. But that gives you an idea of who's in charge, because he who has the purse makes the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's this notion that women should be treated like princesses. Ever heard that?
Oh, it's maddening.
Right. I mean, you should be kept in a tower and be, have a what do they call those? A chastity belt on. And
that doesn't sound like much fun at all.
No, being treated like a princess would be a terrible idea. But what that means today is that they should get what they want. They should act in an unreasonable fashion and get what they want.
Yeah.
These are terrible ideas for having a good relationship, because at some point or another, whatever made you want to treat her like a princess is going to wear off.
No doubt. Dan, any other thoughts you want to share?
I guess the last thing I would want to say is I'm actually pretty glad that Mark was sympathetic to the position, because last time we talked about MGTOW on the show, I called in and Johnson was not particularly sympathetic to me. He said that 4 or 5 times. I think I gave you like a big long spiel about my own personal history, and said 4 or 5 times trying was not enough to go MGTOW.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know that what trying means, and as far as relationship goes, and everybody's going to have their own opinion on this. But
it's something we could talk about another night. Thanks, Dan, for your call. I appreciate it. We're obviously still learning about it. Mark, you have this lengthy story from the Smithsonian. You were about to tell us what happened with the tulip fever, why it was, why people were lied to about it, why it was blown out of proportion.
Yep.
and you said it had something to do with Calvinism?
Yeah, all the outlandish stories of economic ruin, of an innocent sailor thrown in prison for eating a tulip bulb, of chimney sweeps wading into the market in hopes of striking it rich. Those came from propaganda pamphlets published by Dutch Calvinists, worried that the tulip-propelled consumerism boom would lead to social decay.
So if people love flowers, they're going to start being bad people.
Well, they should be spending their money on that.
I see.
There are better
should be
things.
giving it to the church, according to them.
Well, it's I agree.
So the church can buy flowers.
Do you think it's a good idea to spend money, $10,000 on a purse?
Hell no.
Okay, that's what they're saying. They're right, but they made up stories
lied about it.
That have no historical corroboration.
They told lies in order to get people to believe their church stuff.
They printed stories that have no corroboration.
That's telling a lie, right?
I don't know.
Make something out of whole cloth, that's a lie.
It would be if it was made out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
Right? And it looks like it was.
Yeah.
So anyway,
if it looks like a lie and smells like a lie, it's probably a lie.
Some of the stuff hasn't lasted, like the idea that God punishes people who are overreaching by causing them to have the plague. That's one of the things the people had said in the 1630s. But the idea that you get punished if you overreach, you still hear that. It's all pride goes before the fall. Goldgar, this is the woman who wrote this, doesn't begrudge novelists and filmmakers for taking liberties with the past. It's only when historians and economists neglect to do their research that she gets irked.
Which a lot of the filmmakers are basing their films off of, presuming that's true.
Yeah.
And they're not. There's probably more to the story. You're going to post it on our, either way, you're going to post it on our Facebook and Twitter.
Sure.
I take it. So folks who want to go and dig in and look at whatever citations the Smithsonian might have on that, you can probably do that there. And between now and tomorrow night, you can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Enjoy what remains of your weekend.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.